A new development now in the death of actor Matthew Perry.
That's right. A woman known as the Ketamine Queen has agreed to plead guilty to supplying that dose that killed him. Joining us now is former prosecutor and attorney Neama Rahmani. Neama, thank you for being with us this morning.
Of course, Sheba. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is such a high-profile case. So talk about this. Is the guilty plea a strategic move for the woman being called the Ketamine Queen?
Sheba, it really is, and this is why. The writing was on the wall. She was facing trial next month in September, and she did secure some concessions from the prosecution in this case, and that was dismissal of the methamphetamine-related charges. She's still pleading to 3 counts of distributing ketamine, including providing ketamine, the fatal dose that killed Matthew Perry, and operating a drug house. But because of the differences in federal law, ketamine is a Schedule 3 drug and methamphetamine is a Schedule 2. Even though it had nothing to do with Perry, by getting those meth charges dismissed, she did reduce her potential sentence in this case.
You know, she's the 5th and final defendant to reach a deal. A lot of times we see that these people end up seeing the other deals on the table and go, I don't know that I want to take my chances in court. Do you think that's what happened here?
I think that's right, Jamie. Look, normally the first defendants to plead guilty, they get the best deal, and there's overwhelming evidence in this case. We've all seen the text messages between Sangha and the middleman to provide approximately 50 vials of ketamine to Matthew Perry, and after he died, there's messages saying delete the text messages. And of course, there was the raid when law enforcement executed a search warrant at her home, and they found ketamine, cocaine, methamphetamine, mushrooms. So lots of evidence in this case, not the type of case that you can push to trial.
Okay, and then even with the guilty plea, she's facing a maximum sentence of 45 years. So what factors might the judge consider in sentencing here?
Well, I think one of the big factors, Jamie, is really the fact that she was involved in another ketamine-related death in 2019, and we're talking about Cody McLaury. So Matthew Perry wasn't her first victim. The fact that she's killed 2 people, she's been involved in all sorts of drugs, the judge is probably going to throw the book at her. I wouldn't be surprised if she gets upwards of a decade or more in federal prison. If I had to guess, I think she's looking at close to 20 years.
You know, there were a number of text messages that you were talking about and other correspondence revealed as this case was coming about, and there was some really harsh wording of things. Will the judge take that type of thing into consideration?
I do. I mean, really sort of callous behavior, and we've seen the doctors not doing their job, which is to do no harm. They're taking advantage of someone who's a clear addict. Now, of course, Sangha is a drug dealer, but the fact that, you know, she behaved in such a reprehensible way and was providing drugs that was killing people, I don't think the judge is going to be lenient on her at all. And let's not forget, the reality is this case is getting a lot of attention, and every life matters. But with a celebrity death like this, I don't think she's going to get any leniency because of the high-profile nature of this. The entire world is going to be watching the sentencing.
Absolutely. All right, Neama, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks, Sheba. Thanks, Jamie. Talk soon.
All right, sounds good.